We're going to use the ontological argument to explain why God should exist.
Yes. So basically there was a guy called Anselm who said that God is perfect.
He's that than which nothing greater can be conceived.
So he's like the bum, he's like top boss, like primo. And he, basically the idea he came up with is that there are two boxes. The first box is that the perfect God does exist.
And the second box is that the perfect God does not exist.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
This one makes sense because God is perfect and he exists. There's nothing wrong with that. All good.
Anselm said that this box has an internal contradiction, that it is greater to exist than to not exist, and so if God is perfect, then he must exist, because if he didn't, everything else that did exist would be better than him.
So basically that box is cancelled out. And this box is all that's left. Perfect God does exist, so God exists. What's your point on, what do you think of that? Does that convince you?
No, it doesn't convince me, because I have some own stuff, don't I, that I bring to this argument. It's all part of my baggage and part of my upbringing and part of all of that. So that's going to impact on how I interpret that, isn't it?
Yeah, probably. But I mean,
I understand what you're saying, but I don't have to agree with it.
No, you don't. I'm convinced.
Yes. Is there anything in particular that you don't like about this argument?
No, there's nothing that I don't like about your argument, except that I'm not convinced that God does exist.
Yeah, because do you reckon there should be like a third box?
Well, I was expecting that you were going to come up with a third box, actually. I was expecting you to pull the third box out of your back pocket.
Yeah, oh no, don't have any more boxes.
No more boxes.
Well, if we had the third box, what do you think would be in it?
You should have told me about this before you started filming. Well, I suppose the question I'd say is, why does God have to be perfect?
Ooh. Good one.
Why can't it just be God exists? Why does it have to be a perfect God? Because that adjective makes a whole lot of difference.
It does. And perfect is a hard word to define as well.
And if you're talking about God as an ethereal being the Father of Jesus Christ, you could follow the Christian argument that Jesus Christ is part of the three persons in one God Trinity idea that some religions espouse. And Jesus Christ wasn't perfect.
No, we don't think anyone's perfect.
No.
So,
yeah.
So where are we going to go now?
No.
He's a man called Guanillo, and he said, based on the principle that Anselm was using, you could define anything into existence by using the word perfect.
Yeah, and so you're going
yeah, and then if we cancel out God here
and
on
replace
both
it with
pages
any other
and
word.
replace it with island, so perfect island does not exist, or perfect island does exist, then that cancels out. So you can bring anything into existence with this argument.
You go the perfect unicorn does exist.
Yeah.
What's perfect? That's what question
Yeah.
you asked. What's perfect too?
Yeah.
What's your definition of perfect? Is that a subjective or an objective definition?
Well, that's what Guanillo was saying, that subjective, people's perception of perfection, subjective, and so at least with the island, different people have different ideas of what would make the perfect island. Just like
So
different
it's
people.
subjective stuff.
Yeah, like one person's island might have a coconut.
Yeah.
Perfect island might have a coconut tree because they like coconuts.
Yeah.
Someone else might want a mango tree. Who knows?
Exactly. And
But
so
yeah.
different people's gods in their mind have different.
So haven't you just
attitudes.
destroyed this guy's argument?
Yeah.
But
We have now. Yes.
didn't someone say that we had to get our idea of perfect from something and it's God? Only God's perfect or something? What did he say?
Yeah. Defining.
I think basically like every person has in their mind an idea of what is perfect, even though nothing in our world is. And so this person was arguing that because of this idea of perfection came from God, because he's the only thing that can be perfect, because he doesn't live in this world, he lives like outside of it.
Outside of our universe, so before he isn't affected by all the stuff we are.
Yeah,
So he's the
change
only
and
thing.
things like
God is the only thing in the whole universe that's perfect.
if you believe in God.
If you believe-
if
yeah,
you don't
if you
believe in
believe
God,
in
are you then saying, is the argument then that there is no perfection in the universe?
Maybe. Yeah.
Well, I think there'd be plenty of people who would disagree with that. I mean, there would be mathematicians who could come up with a perfect equation, or there would be scientists that could come up with a perfect experiment, or there may be artists that could come up with a perfect painting, or...
And then that all goes back to the perfection is subjective.
Yes.
Yeah.
So this is a circular argument, I
It
think.
is a very simple argument when you get into it.
Yeah. Sweet.
So basically, we're all unconvinced.
Is that what was supposed to happen? Or perfection?
Mm.
Mm.
Yeah.
Isn't it perfect?
Oh.
Yeah. It's all done now.
Someone said that when you were all born too. Oh, isn't it perfect? Isn't it perfect?
Yeah.
Are we done?
I think
cut.
so.
Yeah.
Thank you.